Okay, listen, we're going to go ahead and get started. Before we start with Paul, we got news today. Ken sent out that Greg Dotson, who was the governor 93 to 94, had passed away, and
no.
the age of 82. And I wasn't in Kiwanis, but I got to know Greg through when he was the member of the San Pedro Club. He went down to Douglas and helped us start that club down here. I know Harry knows him, and I know Nilda should know him because I was still in the Army during that time. But I just want to let you know that. And our next Tequila Tuesday is going to be 3 August, and it's going to be on the Amplify program. So I encourage everybody to attend because the Amplify gals are going to talk about it. Tonight we have Paul McQuarrie from Farmington Rio del Sol Club. It's Don't Meth With Us. I told Ken I knew the difference, but I asked Laura Miller to join us tonight because she does the program down here. And I'm the dummy that works that interrupts her about safety stuff. So it's a great program. Our Sheriff Mark Daniels down here usually provides us funds for that. And Laura does a great job. And with that said, I'll turn it over to Paul. Go ahead, Paul.
Thank you, Don. Thank you for inviting me. Your invitation came out of nowhere, but I appreciate it. I'm Paul McQuarrie. I'm the president of the Farmington Rio del Sol Kiwanis Club. I'm also the president of the Don't Meth With Us Foundation. We're a 501c3 foundation, and we share this program with any civic organization that wants to do it. This program is a fantastic club project. And what are we in Kiwanis for? What are we in Rotary for? What are we in any organization for? It's to make our community a better, safer place. Kiwanis, we want to raise children off of drugs. We want to raise children so they'll grow up and lead us later. This program does that. I can't stress to you the importance of keeping children off of drugs. If you go to our website, don'tmethwithus.com, and read the success stories, we have letters from superintendents of public instruction who swear by this program. Our superintendent here, he'd be here tonight if he didn't have something else because he loves this program. We missed the 5th graders last year, and he's asked us to do the 6th and 5th graders this year, so none of them will slip through the cracks. He knows the importance of this. He stood up a year and a half ago, at a meeting with 100-some people in it. And Dr. Smith's only been here about 4 or 5 years as superintendent. He come from Los Alamos. He stood up and he said he gets calls from the Midwest asking them, what in the world are you doing? The graduation rates here in Farmington and San Juan County are going through the roof. They're more than they've ever been before in the last few years. And he could have stood up there and patted himself on the back and said, look what I've done. But instead, he said, he tells these people that call him from other states, these superintendents, he tells them we've got an anti-drug program in our schools in the 5th grade, and it keeps kids off of drugs. And when it does that, we can teach them. Once they start doing marijuana and other drugs, we can't teach them any longer. So they're staying in school and they're getting their education and they're staying off of drugs. And I tell you what, he brought a tear to my eye when he did that. I was in there and I appreciate it. Well, he wrote a letter to the same effect, and it's on our website. And another superintendent, Kirk Carpenter from Aztec, wrote a similar letter. They all swear by it. This program changes lives, and that's what the business we're in, right? So I was hoping some president-elects would be on here, but I hope that the ones that are on here tonight will take this program back to their clubs and share it. And you can go to our website And you can learn all you want to about this program by surfing our website. I've helped clubs in the Philippines, Australia, helped a Rotary Club in Botswana, Africa, and we have clubs across Canada and the United States doing this. I went to a Kiwanis District Convention in Kansas last August. Governor Joe Swartz asked me to come. And as a result of that, I know of 7 Kiwanis clubs doing it across Canada right now. I mean, Kansas right now. So I'm going to share this program with you now. And without further ado, and when I get done, I'm going to rush through it. When I get done, I'm open for any questions or discussion. So far, our government has spent over $1,500,000,000 on the war on drugs. They can't keep it out of our prisons, they can't keep it out of our schools, and they can't keep it out of our neighborhoods. Since 1980, drug-related arrests and the overdoses are skyrocketing right now. You can see the news, fentanyl and all that. It's skyrocketing right now across the United States. Drugs are pouring across our border right now. Since a new president took office, there's been 30 tons of drugs confiscated coming across the border. 30 tons, 60,000 pounds. Just think what gets through if they've caught that much. This top-down approach, it's not working. Our sheriff, and I'm a good friend of our past sheriff, he said, Paul, he said, I'm so glad you're doing that program. He said, we can't enforce ourselves out of this problem. There's no way we can enforce ourselves out of this program. There's too much money in it. It costs $31,000 a year to incarcerate a prisoner. Education, it costs $11,392 a year to educate a child per year. This program right here costs $6 and some volunteer work, some in-kind. That's for, I don't know if you can see me on here or not. That's for a t-shirt that we give them. Every child gets a t-shirt. We give them a pencil with our website on it. We ask them when they get through today, when they go home from school today, get on that website and take your parents and your siblings and share what you learned here today with them. We have to get the word out what drugs are doing to people and how bad they are. And you're going to know something that they don't know today, and you can share that with them. So we give them a pledge card, and we ask the children, what are you going to say when you're first asked to try drugs? They don't know. Another question, well, we ask them to write down on this pledge card what you're going to say. Have an answer ready. And have an answer ready that they'll get it. They won't ask you again. I've lost my chain of thought. But anyway, that just makes sense right there. It's easier to educate a child and bring them up properly than it is to rehabilitate an adult after they get grown. When we started this program back in 2006, there was 39 juveniles arrested across our county. We have 3-4 cities. We've got Kirtland, we've got Shiprock, we've got Aztec, Bloomfield, and Farmington. There was 39 children, that's 18 and under, arrested for using meth. And after we started this program in 2006, that number went down to 0 in 2010. And it's been that way ever since. This is an old frame. It says 2017, but it's been that way. I just talked to the administrator the other day and they said they just don't see it no more. This program has grown in the last 16 years and it's on actually 5 continents. And we're probably reaching 250,000 children each year. New children, different children every year because we do the 5th grades. And we're reaching about 250,000 children a year. Needs to be 250 million. I've done what I can. I'm getting old now. I've done what I can to spread the news and spread this program and get it going and change children's lives. But other clubs need to start doing it and then help other clubs do it. And that's how it's going to work. I have a guy in Springfield, Missouri. He started it about 11 or 12 years ago, and he's gone over to Arkansas and up through Missouri and everything. He's probably got a dozen clubs doing it now. So, and that's what I need. I need emissaries. We go to the 5th grades because they're getting ready to go into middle school. Middle school is where they are first usually asked to try drugs. But to the contrary of that, the average age that a child is first asked to try meth or other drugs across the country is almost universal. It's 12 years of age. So we try to get to them before somebody else does. This is prevention. This is not enforcement. It's not rehabilitation. And it's not incarceration. This is prevention, and we can do it. You don't have to be a teacher or an educator to do this program. You just have to go in there to the 5th grades, get you some volunteers together, and go in there and share this program and share this knowledge with the children. This is not the program we show the children. We have a totally different program we show the children. Oh, this is just something one of the children wrote. Why do we go after meth? This is a demonstration I do if I'm doing an audience, okay? So don't pay no attention to it. Would you please stand up? Why do we focus on meth? Is because meth is the most addictive, dangerous drug. I think fentanyl is going to take that over, but most addictive, dangerous drug ever to come into our society. So what we can do when we go into the schools and we talk to these children, we get the word out about meth, what it does to their body, their family, how it controls their mind, and how it kills them, and then how it makes them look. And we sell them on not doing meth. Any child that goes out there, anybody after listening to one of our presentations goes out there and tries meth, they're a fool. And they don't have any sense. So we sell them on that. But once we do that, one of the questions that we ask the children, because we always ask them what they want to be when they grow up and all that, we interact with the children during our presentation. It's about a 40-minute presentation, it's all it is. But it's a lasting presentation. It stays with them for the rest of their life. We ask them, how many of you want to grow up and be a drug addict? Well, nobody wants to grow up and be a drug addict. Nobody raises their hand. So then we ask them, why are there so many drug addicts out there if nobody wants to grow up and be one? How many of you see people down in these old cars and everything and got scars on their face and all that and everything? How many of you in here have seen that? And they all raised their hand. Well, how does that happen? How do you become a drug addict? And finally, one of them will say, I guess somebody offered them something and they really liked it. Well, bless my soul. Who's the hardest person in the world to say no to? Yourself. So if somebody gives you something, drugs does what it says it'll do. It'll make you feel, all the lights will go on in Vegas, in your head. It'll make you feel good. Yeah. But then what are you going to do after that? Then what are you going to do? You're going to want more. And that's how you become a drug addict. It's not the 10th or 11th time that you try drugs. It's that first time. It's that very first time you get hooked. So don't try them. Just stay away from them. You don't never have to worry about them owning you or controlling you. We explain to the children the history of meth and what addiction is and how addictive meth is and how it feels and we talk a little bit about marijuana and other drugs as gateway drugs. You'll see that in the presentation that we do. You go on the website, you can watch one of our presentations and it's in full. It's right there for you. And we explain everything to the children. We want them to know exactly what's going on. Then we show them these pictures. These are real mug shots. These are shots that sheriff's offices have taken over the years. When a sheriff up in Oregon, I think he started it. He started noticing the difference on these people than when they were arrested each year or every 6 months. And this is meth mouth. I don't think there's a dentist in any town that hadn't seen meth mouth. But who wants to try meth after you see these pictures and you see what it does? But these are real pictures. Everybody on here that you see is dead now. They died from the drug. So you want to know how to do the program? The presentation, the script, the logo, the instructions are all on the website. And I'm an email or a phone call away. And anybody that's doing this program gets a passion for it. Is that not right, Laura? Laura?
Yeah, that's right. I had to unmute myself.
Everybody that I know that started this program gets a passion like me or Laura because we can see that it's changing lives. Now, I asked Debbie Braff to be here with me tonight. Debbie's in a meeting the mayor called together, and she's on the mayor's council. Debbie retired 6 years ago as an elementary principal, Apache Elementary here in Farmington. And she looked me up and she said, Paul, she says, I want to join Kiwanis. I was her sponsor. She says, I watched you guys come into Apache Elementary for 11 years. I watched every one of your presentations. I want to be a part of that program and I want to be a presenter. And she is. And she's a darn good one. The people call me from Hickory Apache Reservation out in Dulce, New Mexico, here a couple of years ago. And Debbie says, let me go out there. I used to teach at Kayenta for the Navajo. Let me go out there and I'll do a presentation and everything. And she went out and did their first presentation in their school for them. So she has a passion for this program because she's seen what it did to her children that was at Apache Elementary over the years and how it even affected their families. She said, I had parents come in and pick up those children sometimes, and they didn't even know where they was at. And they were driving. So I just told you that a while ago. We give the kids a pledge card, and a T-shirt, and a pencil, and a wristband. The wristband says, don't mess with us. They love that. I've heard all kinds of stories from that. My favorite one is a little 6th or 7th grader contacted me and he said, I got a wristband when I was in the 5th grade. And he said, you have any more? He said, my little brother chewed it up. So they like the wristbands. You can find businesses that will sponsor you and give you this money. You don't have to just say, oh, where am I going to get $6 a kid from? We have, you can see the back of this shirt. Most all of these sponsors, we put them on the back of our t-shirts because they give us $1,000 a piece every year. And they know what we're doing. And I don't even have to invoice them. I just have to call them and they send me a check. Count me in. And I had one guy, he lost his business last year. He says, I still got enough money for that program though. You still hit me for that $1,000, okay? I said, all right. His name's Ron Philibon, super nice guy. But we don't have any money. We don't have any problem raising money. Once you're business people, I've got a guy named Mario DeGusi who lives in T.R.C. He's in the Rotary down there. And he had the same problem. He didn't know how to raise money. And I told him, go out and ask your business people. These are future employees. These are the future of your community. Invest in it. You have a business, give back, invest in your community. And they do. And he raises all kinds of money down there now. And we sending a little bit of money. Our foundation sends him a little money every year. And he's been to about 7 or 8 international Rotary conventions. And of course, they've been having them virtual last year and this year. But hopefully we can get back in person again. We send him some money as a stipend. And he opens up a booth and shares this program. That's what I'm talking about, a passion to spread this program because they see what it's doing for the children, how it's keeping them off of drugs. I don't think we can do anything better than to keep children off of drugs so they'll grow up and become something and contribute to society. But anyway, that's me. Mario went to South Korea here a few years ago, and the district governor from Botswana was there, and he took it back and gave it to this gal in Francistown, and she got it going, and they've got our logo on everything, and they raise money. They don't have that many businesses, so they raise money by having a marketplace, vegetables, and everybody donates vegetables and crops and stuff like that, and the money goes towards this program. Any way you can get it, So that's good. So anyway, don't worry about raising money. You just have to have somebody willing to ask. That reminds me of another program, Don, we'll talk about after a while. Oh, that's not any good. Let's see. Okay, well, like I said, we have everything you need, and I'm available anytime you need me. So I'm going to end the PowerPoint there and open it up for questions and answers.
Okay. Paul, here in Sierra Vista, I do the program with the 6th graders because our school is set up K through 6. So if I do it to the 5th graders, they still have a year before they go to middle school.
That's great. As long as you catch them before somebody else does.
Well, when I started the program, I was doing with 5th graders, but then I had a couple of 5th grade teachers that wouldn't do it. And so then I moved it up to 6th graders. And then we also, we require that they have to have parents' permission to see the program. That's our district requires that. So I send out a permission slip for the kids to get the parents to sign it before we can do the program.
Folks,
you have the permission slip attached in the website so that can be something, just a general idea of what that looks like?
Don't Mess With Us website. Just go to don'tmesswithus.com and don't put an apostrophe between the N and the T and don't. Just straight one word, don'tmesswithus.com, and it'll come up.
Okay, and then that,
Then you can surf that. You can look at stories of success from sheriffs and superintendents of public instruction and others. And you can watch a video of our presentation. You can download the script. You don't have to follow it verbatim. You can play it off the cuff. You just watch it and learn it. You and your crew, whoever you get to. This is a fun program to do too. I mean, you love the children. I just love to interact with the children. And but you can download everything you need right there off the internet.
Paul, I think she asked, do you have a permission slip that you give out, or the schools just let you do the program?
Oh, the schools let us do the programs. As a matter of fact, the school's biggest to do the program up here. And the permission slip is only necessary. I have a one that we pass out if the newspaper is going to be there or somebody and we're going to take pictures or something. And there's been a whole lot of that. But you can't show a child's face unless you have permission from the parent on TV or whatever, or on newspaper and stuff. Any other question?
what does it cost to get it started if you were to, if you started to take on the program itself? Is that, how much is that initial kind of investment?
Find out how many children you have to present to, and it's about $6 a child.
Okay.
And the t-shirts, we have 2,200 children here in San Juan County that we present to, 2,200. And our t-shirts run right around $6,000, which is almost nothing. They're pretty cheap, and they're 100% cotton. They're good material.
Okay.
And
My t-shirts run a little bit more than that. So it just depends on where you're getting it printed at.
yeah.
Okay. And then does the website supply all the pencils then? Is that where that other than the wristbands?
Now you can put our website on the pencils if you want to, and tell them to go there because they can learn about drugs on there. And or you can do your own website, whatever you want. You can direct them anywhere you want to with those pencils. And another thing is, if you pass pencils out to the children, we got a couple of schools, we have 230, 40, 50 children in that we present to in the cafeterias. Don't give them the pencils until they leave on the way out, because they'll sit there and do a drum roll with the eraser. On the next thing you know, you got a drum roll out there. So they'll really distract you. So don't do that. But yeah, our website, the statistics during our presentation month, we do all of our presentations in February. This year, we're going to do the 6th graders in September to catch them up. But we do all the 5th graders in February. Our Februarys are booked up tight every week. And our hits on our website just skyrocket.
One of the problems that I've found, if you don't get the program in fairly early in the, like January, February, is when the kids start doing testing, then it's really hard to get into the classroom once they start the testing.
And if you have any problems with your school, Dr. Schmidt up here, I can give you his phone number. He said, have them call him, because he'll tell them how important it is that these children get this program. So if they don't listen to him, I don't know. He's got a pretty good background in education. And yes.
Are there any studies comparing don't mess with me with the DARE program?
Well, no, but the DARE program never handed out any paraphernalia. And the DARE program, I'm not knocking the DARE program, okay? The DARE program tried to scare children, and it made marijuana sound like it was going to fry your brain and stuff. And you can't tell children this stuff. the states are legalizing it and everything. You have to be honest with these children. Everything you say, because if you don't, you lose your credibility. And what we say is credible and it's honest. And sometimes, excuse me, the first 4 years of this program, I did every presentation in every school because I was building my team and I didn't have anybody that wanted to present. They was a little nervous about standing in front of fifth graders. And I don't understand that, but I've always been able to talk before people. But anyway, the first 4 or 5 years, I did every presentation. Now I've got more presenters than I have schools. I've got more people wanting to help with this program than we can use. And most of them are in Kiwanis. And they love this program. They want to make a difference in the world. And you can do it as a team, as a club, easier than you can do it as an individual. And you can make a difference with this program.
Another question, does the Don't Mess With Me program talk about bullying?
We don't cover bullying or alcohol. We just say alcohol is a gateway drug. In our presentation, you'll see it when you watch the presentation. Take the time to watch the presentation. You'll see it. We compare alcohol and marijuana to being on the train tracks. And drugs and methamphetamine is a train. And you can't get hit by a train if you're not on the railroad tracks. We use that analogy. So drugs, hard drugs, they're a train wreck. Meth is a train wreck. You can't survive a train wreck. But if you don't get on the railroad tracks, the train can't hit you. So they get it. It works.
One of the key parts of the presentation, and once you go and look at the presentation, is the skit that's done about where you show kids some of the ingredients of the meth. And so, like in my bag, I have a can of lighter fluid, Drano, and paint thinner. And so part of the thing is once you ask the kids to reach in the bag and get one of those items. And just as they're reaching into the bag, you have one of the other presenters yell and saying, stop, you can't let them touch that without protective gear. So then they have to put on goggles and a mask and gloves. And then they take the item out of the bag and then they read all the hazardous stuff that goes along, with that particular item. So, like once you watch the presentation, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, but that's a key part of the presentation because, most of the kids don't know what is in meth. And so once they see, Drano and paint thinner, then they can kind of get a little bit better idea of what goes into the drug because you're saying to them, you wouldn't sit there and drink this stuff, like after seeing all this. And so it's a good part of the presentation is the skit.
We get the point across with the skit and our explanation of everything. And once you see what we say to the children, I think you'll understand the psychological impact of what we're saying to the children, and they get it. We want to leave that impression on them. We want to get our point across to them, and I think we do. We let them answer a lot of the questions. And we talk about alcohol and marijuana and bullying and all that. That's a whole different venue. We want to keep them off of drugs, and we'd like to be able to cover everything. But the reason that we concentrate on methamphetamine mainly is because you don't want to confuse them. We can't stand up there and talk about heroin and fentanyl and all these other drugs. You lose them. You lose them. So we concentrate on meth, and we use that as our catalyst to get the point across about all drugs are bad. Why start any drugs? So that's when we ask them, who wants to grow up and be a drug addict, and how does that start? How do you become a drug addict? We make them think, and we are interacting with them. We make them tell us how you become a drug addict, because there's not a drug addict out there on the street that thought they'd be a drug addict. Nobody thinks about how you become a drug addict. So that's what we're doing, is we're making them think about this. We're sharing this with them and making them think about what to watch for, what to be careful about, and to protect themselves from becoming a drug addict or getting caught up in that.
One of my Kiwanis moments, I guess, with this program is I had given the presentation, and so then I had one of the students all of a sudden just open up and started telling all the other kids in his class how his father had been addicted to meth and how much it had affected his family and how they had been kicked out of where they were living because of the father's drug use. But the father had gotten help, and so now the family was on the road to recovery. But it was just really eye-opening when he sat there and started telling the other kids how it had affected his whole family. And I had never had that happen before. So that was a kind of a teaching moment there.
For the last few years, I'd say for the last 4 or 5 years, we've been doing senior surveys or senior essay contests. We give students like $1,000 for their college and different levels for first, second, and third place. And we do all of our high schools up here. And we get in 100 or so essays from the different schools. And those kids remember this program when they were in the 5th grade, and they talk about it and how it's affected their lives and how they've gone on. I could tell you some stories that just rock you. It's amazing. It keeps me going just to pick up one of those essay letters from one of those kids and read it. It just breaks my heart, and it just encourages me. It keeps me going when I think I'm about to get burned out. Boy, it inspires me again, because we've affected those children. We have really touched those children, and I know it, and you're going to experience that when you get your 12th graders, where the 5th graders in the 12th grade. So how long you been doing this, Laura?
Oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Are your kids in the 12th grade yet?
I don't think so.
When they get in the 12th grade, think about an essay contest. And I can send that paper to you. It's pretty simple questions, okay? It's pretty easy, the criteria.
Hey, Paul, there was a couple questions on the chat I looked at. What $6 buy?
$6 buys a T-shirt, a wristband, a pencil, and a pledge card.
Now, are the
Sorry, Don. I think he has a really good deal with a vendor that he has there in Farmington, that he's able to get the shirts at a pretty good price.
Yeah, if your school's not very big and you want me to, I can get your shirts printed here and ship them to you at shipping cost, whatever it is. And they give us a real good price here. But we get a good price because we buy shirts by the case. There's 72 T-shirts in a case of each size. So we order them by a case per size. And when you order 2,000 T-shirts, then you can get a pretty good price. And my vendor knows to order them usually in September, because the mills are putting them back in stock and they don't want to. So they wholesale them out so that she knows how to get the right price for them. So, but I can help you with all that. All you have to do is call me or email me. I'll help you with that.
Hey, Paul, Erica asked, has this been introduced to homeschoolers? I think the answer to that, Erica, if you can watch the video and stuff, then you probably can start it in your area.
You can show the video to kids. Yeah, it's right there on the internet.
Tony, you got your hand up? There you are. I see you.
Yeah, my question is, do you have to be accredited, trained or anything to be able to represent, you know?
Just have to be a good person who wants to share the word and make a
So,
difference.
so if I were to get on the website and I got everything together for it, then, it would be up to me to be able to go to the schools and I would be representing you then, right?
Right. Well, you'd be representing your club. You're just wanting to get into the schools and you want to share this program with the children. And
You'd have to go through district office and, you know, talk with the superintendent to get permission to do it in the schools.
Thank you.
we don't want anything from you. We're just sharing the program with you. Everything's free. We're just giving it to you. All we want to do is save children. If we didn't believe in this program, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. And I wouldn't have traveled. I have traveled to Montreal, Orlando, to the Kiwanis International Convention, New Orleans, and Salt Lake City. I've traveled everywhere sharing this program. And I do it at our expense. It's all about the children. And I don't care where the children I'll never see in my life. It's just about children everywhere. It's not, you know, I had somebody in another club say, well, why don't you just keep it here in San Juan County? I said, that's not what it's about, you know. I don't understand that mentality, but anyway. But children are children everywhere. All the children in the world need to get this message. Let me tell you a little story. It's a true story. I was in New Orleans and I was at a convention and I had a booth there with this program in it. And me and John Horton from Springfield, Missouri was standing out in front of the booth. And this black guy walks up to me and he says, is that your booth there? And I said, yeah. He said, are you Paul? And I said, yeah. He said, I saw your program in Montreal and I took it back to my country and we're using that now to teach our children to stay off of drugs. I said, well, that's wonderful. What's your country? He said, Nigeria. I said, you got meth and other problems in Nigeria? And he said, oh, we've got all kinds of drugs. He said, you have to understand, I live in a huge slum area. And he said, my wife is a school teacher. And he said, we're not going to ever change our situation unless we can educate our children and they grow up and become something and come back and help make those changes. We can't teach them if they're on drugs. If we can't keep them off of drugs, we can't teach them. We lose them. And I've got a picture on my desktop. I don't know if I can show it to you or not. I'll try, but I got a picture. I've saved that picture because it's so I just have to look at it every once in a while. You know what I mean? I don't know. Can you see it? If not,
No.
no. Let me share the screen again then. There it is. I was with the Rotary then. And that's John Horton on the right. That's the Nigerian and then me. And I just have to share that. I'll never forget that moment because I brought a tear to my eye when he said he was doing that. And the one in Botswana, I'll share that one with you too. Can you see it? That's a Rotary Club of Francistown, Botswana. You see our logo right there? And they're having a market. That's how they're raising money for the program. Is selling general stalls and fresh fruit and vegetables. So that's pretty neat, isn't it? I'm a friend of Sadia's. Her name's Sadia. I'm a friend of hers on Facebook, and every once in a while she'll post some pictures of them dancing in the streets and all that and everything. And I told Jill, my wife, I said, I would like to go over there. Here she is. I would like to go over there and visit them, and see the grass huts in the background there. And that's her. She was the president of Rotary here a couple of years ago and started that thing. So that's pretty neat, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but the program's spreading. I mean, the program is viable. The program works, and it's free. All it takes is, I like to quote Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of concerned citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And if we don't do it, guys, who's going to do it? Government's not going to do it. It's not going to get done if we don't do it. It falls on us. It's falling on my shoulders. And I'm not a real religious guy, and I won't be preaching or anything, but I believe in God, and I think God ordained me to do this. He laid it on me. And if you'd have told me a day before I started this program that I would have done it, I would have called you crazy. But I've been with it 16 years now, pushing it. So, and I was telling my Sunday school teacher the other day, I just said, I hope he's not through with me yet. So
Amen.
We'll see.
Okay, Paul, thank you very much. Candy, are you on? Candy wanted to say one thing to the audience. Let's give Paul a big hand.
Thank you. And Laura, thank you for what you're doing.
Okay.
Laura's
Yeah.
got a assistant. Go ahead, Candy.
Okay, I just want to keep this brief. As you know, the Roadrunners put on a silent auction at DCON every year, and the money that we raise, half of it goes to grants that we give to clubs, such as if your club wants to do a Don't Mess With Me program, you can put in for a grant to help fund that program if you're one of the recipients that gets chosen. So what I'm asking everybody is to go back to your clubs, see if you can find something that you can donate for the silent auction. We've sent the flyer out a couple times, and it will be going out before the DCON, I believe, in the newsletter as well. And I think the newsletter will go out before that, right, Dawn, before the DCON?
Yes.
Okay, and in it, it has a link on there that you can click on and sign up. You can also sign up at the Southwest District where you sign up for DCON. There's down below, there's a little place that you can click on there to send your pictures in and descriptions. And so please help us out. We're a little bit late getting this going this year. So we have some really good stuff coming in. We have an Airbnb that you can come down and visit Sierra Vista. We have a few other things that are going to be going in. And I hope that each area can maybe put a basket together that showcases your area. So that's all I wanted to say. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Candy. Again, Paul, thank you, because I've heard it with Let's Talk, but a great program, and I've done it with Laura several times, so it's worthwhile. It works down here because obviously Sierra Vista is pretty close to the border, so we see a lot of meth and stuff down here. Has anybody got any final questions before I close it out? Okay, if not, let me remind you, DCON 26 through 31 July, we've got some great speakers lined up. Ken's put the information out to everybody, and I think you'll really enjoy it. We've got 3 international presidents, 2 past, and the current one. And then we got a guest speaker on Saturday that you'll really enjoy. I'm not going to tell you much about it because the presentation is his life story. So I think I'm looking forward to it. BK Knappenberger, past governor, has seen it twice. He speaks very highly of it. So I encourage everybody to attend the district convention. And thanks for showing up tonight. And remember, August 3rd is the next Tequila Tuesday. And I see Liz Duncan here eating. She's been one of the Amplify ladies. And that's a great program too. So thank you, and everybody have a great night. Thanks again, Paul.
Thanks for having me. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.